So Baruch Hashem, we're back after the last Sheva Brachot of my daughter. Now they're back to work and I'm back to work. We're going to start Be'ezrat Hashem today a journey. And the journey is we're going to learn a book. It's called Mesilat Yesharim, a path of the just. Many times you hear from people who are not religious, who are seeking spiritual growth in Judaism, a complaint that Judaism is so-called dry and there is no material about spiritual growth and so on and so forth, and it could not be more wrong than that, because the book Mesilat Yesharim, even though it's regarded as a Mussar book, Mussar means to rebuke, how to make yourself better, into your midot. However, this book is not necessarily just intended for that, but more so as a guide. It's a guidebook for Jewish Enlightenment. The book is based on the words of Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair, different stages. We'll get to them soon, Be'ezrat Hashem. But the last stage is Shara Kedusha, holiness, and Shara Ruach, where it talks about Ruach HaKodesh, and so on and so forth. It's basically, if we take this and we not just translate it, but also explain it, really means how to reach the level of holiness, is how to reach a gate of enlightenment. What's unique about this book is, yet many people always say, where is God? What's God's role? And so on and so forth. I even read something quite stupid on an Israeli newspaper. There's two people wearing a kippah and all, who are debating on the question whether God is Jewish or not. I think it's really dumb. People are always involved with, or curious about God this and God that, and so on and so forth, and really not interested about what they have to do, what they have to accomplish. There are two opposing books. On one hand, you have Sefer Atanya, which really deals with HaKadosh Baruch Hu and his involvement in the world. And on the other hand, on the other side of the spectrum, you have Sefer Mesilat Yesharim, written by the Ramchal, Rabbi Chaim Moshe Luzzatto, which really deals with how does men stand in front of God. In other words, what we call it in Hebrew is avodah. Avodah means work, labor. Also, avodat Hashem is how do you relate to God? How do you stand in front of God? And these are the certain stages. Every chapter of this book is divided systematically into three parts about the midah itself, how you lose it, and how to acquire it. And it is stage after stage after stage after stage until you reach the level of enlightenment. Years ago, one of my Talmidim asked me, so what's the point of reading this book if I haven't even accomplished half of the first stage? What point is it in continuing into reading the book and learning this book? I said, very simple. At every stage, you could learn something that you could take and improve where you are. To understand this a little better is if we look at Sfirat HaOmer, when we count the Omer, and we refer to the Sferot. So we have Keter, one Sfera. So Keter has inside of it all the other 10 sferot. Then we fix Chokhmah shebeketer, Gvura shebeketer, Hod shebeketer, and so on and so forth. Then we move to the next one, right? And we have Gvura, then we have Keter shebegvura, and on and on and on and on, until we fix the whole entire scenario of the 10 sferot with all the qualities in them. Here too, every midah has, in a way, all the other midot in it, all the other stages in it. So it doesn't make a difference if you are at the first stage of your spiritual development. In it will have all the other 10 chapters, so you can fix it while you go, and that's basically how to do it. It's very interesting in this book, in its uniqueness, that it was written by the Ramchal, which was a major Kabbalist, and he wrote books that are fundamental to learn for those who are interested in learning Kabbalah, fundamental in reading it, and yet there is no mention of God in this book. It's not about God, it's more about man. How does man fit into God's world? So this is a very small introduction about this book. It's called Sefer Mesilat Yesharim, and we're going to call it A Guide to Jewish Enlightenment. And at the beginning, the Ramchal says, I didn't write this book to teach men, to teach people anything that they didn't know, but rather to remind them what is known already to them and is already well published and everybody is well aware of it. And you're not going to find in my words concepts and ideas that men do not know, and they have doubts about achieving them. But it says, because people tend to forget what is really important. You know, we get very busy with our life and we tend to forget what's really important in life. And I always tell you, it's called a busy trap. Being busy is a trap. You're like a busy bee that gets caught in its own honey and is not able to fly. You're being busy all the time. You don't have time to sit down and to really contemplate on what is important in your life. You know, if you go to the ocean and you grab a handful of sand and you hold it up like this, and the sand will slowly will loosen from your hand and will fall down, and you open your hand, there'll be a few grains of sand in your hand. In other words, from this whole, yet you can fill up the whole entire thing. But when you realize that it's like this time clock, with sand that falls down, grain after grain, grain after grain. This is how time is. But we're busy collecting more sand and letting go until we really forget what is really important in our lives. And then we come to a crisis that all of a sudden we find ourselves and we're saying, why am I doing what I'm doing? And since you never bother to look at what you're doing and why you're doing, you end up dropping it. If not you're not able to portray to your children that your children would let go of it. It says, if you see most of the people of the world, and many people are very smart and intellectuals, and people have great abilities to look at chokhmah, at wisdom, at science, to the deepest end of scientific research or math or whatever it is that they do. Everybody according to his sechel, to his intellect, and to his own desire. Some people will be very knowledgeable about molecular physics. The other one will be very interested and will know everything written about poetry or bridges or whatever it is that you're interested in, and so on and so forth. And many people who would spend a lot of time in research or business. Some other people will be into crafts, will be great craftsmen. Some people will go a little bit more holy and they would learn the Holy Torah. Some will be biggest people in halachot. They would know all the halachot. Some people will be very knowledgeable in midrashim. Some will be in Piskei Dinim. They know what this rabbi wrote, what the other rabbi wrote, this tshuva of Rav Moshe, this tshuva of Rav Steinbruch, this tshuva of Rav Ovadia, and on and on and on. But very few will be those who would set aside time and will dedicate deep thinking in what he calls shlemut ha'avodah, about how do you worship Hashem. That your avodat Hashem, the way you worship God, is going to be perfect. How could I make my avodat Hashem perfect? And it's interesting because yesterday I was talking to someone. He went to this yeshiva and he told me about his yeshiva. They went to Israel. As in yeshiva, they learn Gemara there, and the Gemara learning is not that great, it's not on a high level. However, they spend a long time about talking, about teaching people how to be polite, how to be courteous, and to appreciate, and so on and so forth. And he said, I felt that throughout my life in yeshiva, but measures, that's actually helped me a lot to become a person. And I said to myself, it's really a wonder that we have to teach that. Why can we learn it on our own? And the answer is because many times we forget who we do what we do for. Why do we even learn Torah? Why am I getting up in the morning putting my tefillin on? What am I doing what I'm doing? For whom? And you forget. You think that if you argument take a rabbi or a shul and you have, 1,000 people there, that you get up in the morning to sit in that seat in the front so everybody could see you. You forgot. But your job is, when you're learning, you forgot. Why are you learning? You think that you're learning so you could become this big Talmid Chacham that everybody would say yes to. You forgot what you're learning for. You forgot that you're supposed to learn because you're supposed to learn. And you're supposed to teach because somebody needs to teach. That's why you don't connect with it. That's why you one day going to come and you think that you're doing God a favor by learning His Torah. You think you're doing a Kadosh Baruch Hu a favor by teaching people. You think you're doing a favor by building a shul and so on. You get what I'm saying. That's why when you are wrong, you become arrogant. And you're not willing to learn. And you're not willing to learn Mussar. And you think that now I need to learn on a high level. Your high level of learning is very good, it's terrific, it's wonderful. But if you're doing it for yourself, better if you don't do it. Chaz v'shalom, you're going to come up to think that you're doing HaKadosh Baruch Hu a favor, you're learning. You're not learning for God, you're learning for yourself. It's not Avodat Hashem, it's Avodat yourself. Maybe it's even borderline idol worshipping. You become the idol of yourself. You're worshipping yourself. When you pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you don't pray because you want to pray, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you this permission to talk to Him. You pray because you look good. You want people to look how deep you bow down and how correct you lift your head when you pray. You're not praying for God, you're praying for yourself. I've seen people do that. I've seen people who fake it. You could, holding your hands like this does not mean that you're praying from the bottom of your heart. Many times you see a guy, and the guy says, wow, look at him. He prays so, and he does it even more. This is not praying. Praying means your body is not here. You let your neshama go. You can't pray and the telephone goes and you say, shh, no. That's not praying. That's paying attention to everything else. As they say, after praying, Ele barechev ele basusim. They go with horses, with chariots. We mention Hashem's name and we fly all over the world. After you pray, some people need to say a gomel. They flew all over the world already. We forgot what is avodat Hashem. And that's what he wrote the book for. He says, Limud al inyanei shlemut avodah, the completion of the avodat Hashem, al ahava, on love of God, al yira, on awe, ve'al dvekut, your dedication to Hashem, v'kol shach chelkei hasidut, and all the other parts of what we call avodat Hashem. We're not dedicated to Hashem. Yet we would like to say so many times, we verbalize it. When push comes to shove, it's all about ourselves. You want to know where you're holding? See how ungrateful you are. As much as you are grateful for what somebody had done for you, this is how ungrateful you are to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If you had a Rebbe that you learned with, when was the last time you called him? Don't send him text. Don't send him email. Say, oh, Shabbat Shalom, Rebbe. Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi Umori. When was the last time you called and says, Rav, how are you feeling? Are you okay? When did you come to say hello to your Rav? When? If this is to a person who taught you, send him email, forwards. You want to tell me Avodat Hashem is okay? I doubt it. Actually, I don't doubt it. I know it. It's not there. You're not fooling anyone. You're fooling yourself. Pick up the phone, whoever it is. Say, hello, Rebbe, how are you? We used to go to our teacher. We had a beloved teacher. She taught us for 4 years. And it was Ahuva Basis. That was her name. We used to go and visit her. All the kids. We used to go visit this lady when we were in high school already. And every time she used to make us this special chocolate cake that we used to love. And she knew we come and she used to slice it. It was delicious. She was a wonderful, wonderful person. A tremendous educator. Why? She taught us well. She was tough. But she loved us. Until high school. She taught us from 2nd to 5th grade. We used to go visit her every year. So much. When was the last time you did it to somebody who taught you? Appreciated. You move on with your life. That's not called dedication. And if you don't have dedication, by all means you don't have balance. The only thing you dedicate to is to yourself. Put a picture of yourself and just bow down. Don't tell me, oh Hashem, you need to dwell into, investigate your actions. Are you ungrateful? Are you appreciative? Did you ever say it? Of course I'm appreciative. Of course, without a doubt. Did you ever say it? No, you can't bring yourself to say it. That's why many people cannot bring themselves to tell their spouse, I love you. Yeah, of course I love my wife. When was the last time you tell your wife you love her? Truthfully. Just to pay lip service. That's why you don't live spiritual life. That's why you're never going to be enlightened. That's why you're going to be in darkness. Have a great day.